Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world. And you, beautiful, beautiful individual. Today, I would like to speak about your ego or your inner stimulator, your inner life giver, your inner interest bringer, your inner director, your inner utilizer of all of your senses and your faculties and your body. The more you are sitting present within your being, more or less every day, well, it would be preferable all day. The more you do this, the more you are going to let it be kind of second nature to you. With your ego, you stimulate your thinking. With your ego, you observe and feel your feelings. With your ego, you are utilizing your will to do action. And you also see with your eyes, hear with your ears, speak with your voice box, and so on. Your ego is what is spiritualizing what we have within us, what is growing it, unfolding it, and developing it, keeping it in movement and in health and in development, in evolution, just like the rest of the cosmos is. By having that sense of living development, your ego can partake in your own growth, so you are there with your own growth, observing and kind of being there as a guardian for yourself. So you see the development progress that is occurring. You see the increments of wisdom you are gaining day by day. But one needs to have a certain patience with it too. Your ego is reflected physically in the blood. The ego is fire. In the earlier times, in the ancient times, the ego, the spirit, was reflected in the phoenix, constantly recreating itself from its own substance. Today, this ego still is fire, the most sublime element that we do have. It reflects in our blood, and from our blood we are heat, we are warm beings. Your ego helps you by you meditating, breathing, having an interest in spiritual activities and in learning about the spiritual world and the earth and the world and the solar system and anything that you might in flexibility and variation study day by day. Of course, whatever interest you are guided by. Your interests are very, very wise. So the more you get to understand your own true longings and interests and passions, that emptiness that can only be filled by spiritual activity. It cannot be filled by any materialism, by any kind of hoarding, by any kind of collecting. It will only last for a split second and then it's gone. No, spiritual development and active change is the only thing that can fill the emptiness, because this emptiness has come out of stagnation and out of standing still for too long. It is kind of a push towards moving forward. When we move forward, that feeling will no longer be there. You will every day have this prompting to do the work of the spiritual, meditating, thinking with your faculties, sitting and feeling and sensing your own emotions down in your sympathetic nervous system, which is reflected physically, and getting to know our own inner body and being. The more we become acquainted with ourselves, the more we can utilize our own instruments more effectively and fully. Because if we do not know what we have, if we do not know what we are, if we do not know what we are built up by, of course we wouldn't be able to come far. We would only grasp and walk around in the dark. And that is why we study spiritual science, to find out what we are. When we find out what we are, then we can truly direct ourselves and master ourselves truly. But Ahriman and Lucifer have been very clever with distracting us away from what we truly are, and all the glory and the glittering and the fame and things that might not necessarily be healthy for a human being always. Of course, a little art, a little beauty, music, and, you know, a teensy bit frivolity is okay now and then, as long as it doesn't become your life, you know. And on the other hand, not become completely ascetic, and completely push away and reject life completely. It is a perfect middle there where you are grateful for whatever little thing you have. Because, well, life is meant to be taken with gratitude. When you take life with gratitude, you show love for the present moment. This love you show with gratitude is a very, very healing a very healing force. Healing beings, gratitude, you know. The higher beings are constantly grateful for their existence. We should follow along on their example. So that also counteracts Ahriman's, as I've said earlier, Ahriman's fear, the lack mentality, power mongering, fear mongering. By being grateful for what you have in the moment, the few small things you have will help you stable out and more or less keep him down in the underworld, and not let him come up and take and fill your body with fear and doubt and such. It is about staying above ground, in the middle. So you are grounded to earth, with your souls to earth, but Ahriman is below earth, you see? So you are above in the kingdom of light, where the kingdom of light is visible in a sense. So you are on the middle of the mountain. You are not on the top, so you lose all details, but you're not on the bottom, so you lose a viewpoint of the top. You are perfectly in the middle, so you have an overview over the details and the path upwards in a sense. And yeah, to sit within your being also requires, as I have said, courage, because there are so many intense feelings and emotions one has to come to terms with, and one has to come to master and sit within to be able to truly understand oneself. One needs to be able to go deep. One needs to be able to still be stable within one's body, even if one feels the most intense of feelings. That is the practice. It is about being able to handle it. And that requires dedication and, well, also prayers and asking for help from the higher beings truly helps the process. They know what we can do. They know us better than we know ourselves. So if we ask them, they will prompt us and guide us towards the right proper methods and techniques and so on for our individual unique development. You need to tailor the spiritual activities for yourself by finding out who you are. You cannot follow my techniques and practices that I use specifically for my own, because I have strengths and weaknesses, and I have to have a certain order and certain priorities to different studies and so on. It is all about finding out that for yourself. But the practices is only variations of certain streams. There is not an infinite variations of spiritual practices that allows you to come into the development you are meant to come into in this present moment. We are on the fifth post-Atlantean civilization right now, and we have had 4 before us, and we are to have 2 more in the future. And we have all had different ways of seeing things from every single one of them. And now we are at a new point again, where we are cultivating our consciousness soul, becoming aware, awake, clear as day, you know. In earlier times, you become less and less individual and more group soul. You see, you become a Roman, or you become an Egyptian, or you become a Persian, but you are not an individual. You are a part of that group soul. The more you come now, the more individual and more in freedom you become, you see. And that is what we're meant to. We're meant to cultivate it and again connect, just as we had in the past, but with consciousness, so that we are fully awake and aware when we connect again, in freedom, but it has to be done in love and purifying our karma and our shortcomings and shadows. That requires patience, practice, and dedication and consistency. And with your ego, you stimulate your inner being with it. Your ego is your sun. Your ego is, where you shine your ego, things grow. So when you shine it on your emotion, your mastery of emotions grow. When you shine it in your thoughts, your mastery of thoughts grow. When you shine it through your eyes, observing, watching details, watching small and big objects, you stimulate and master your eyes. You see? You need to put life into it by using your ego. Your ego is your life giver, your stimulator. That is what I will leave you with today. Thank you so much. I love you. May Father, Holy Spirit, Christ, Michael, higher hierarchy, ancient masters of all ancestors from every incarnation, bless, protect, guide, and love you on your amazing, beautiful, unique individual path. And may we connect in the spiritual world right here and now. And may we build this love, morality, structure, discipline, and stability that we so wish to see in the future, that can help being a monument, that can help being a guidepost towards what we're meant to be, what we're meant to cultivate, and how we're meant to conduct ourselves. Remember, unless ye become like children. I don't think I need to finish that sentence. But it is all about being childlike, exploring the world as a child would, but conscious as a human adult. It is kind of like an old wise man grabbing the hand of a young child, where the young child is creating amazing imaginations, and the old wise man is helping structuring these imaginations, in a sense. It's a good way to describe it. Love you. Thank you for your beautiful genius, for you being in existence, for you being alive. I love you so much. Thank you. Goodbye.